Hello students, welcome to EPG Pathshala. I am Dr. Savita Sharma from University of Delhi, and today we are going to study the module Thin Films Biosensing Application, which is under the paper Thin Film Science and Technology. After completing this module, the students you will be able to learn about the different components of a biosensor, different methods of electrochemical transduction using a 3 electrode setup. You'll be able to learn the application of thin films in developing metrics for biosensors. We'll be able to learn about the various methods of immobilization of biomolecules on a matrix. Then we'll study about the biosensing parameters such as sensitivity, linearity, detection limit, and Michaelis-Menten constant. And we'll study the properties that defines a good biosensor. So before we go into the details, let's have a brief introduction about biosensor. Biosensor is an analytical device that combines a biologically active component, which is called as receptor, with an appropriate physico-chemical transduction element, which can be electrical signal or thermal signal or optical, etc., for the detection of bioanalyte, or in a simple language we can say biomolecules. The schematic of a biosensor with all these components is shown in the given figure. The basic elements of a biosensor are as follows: the receptor, second is matrix, and third is transducer. So let us study in detail about the basic elements of a biosensor one by one. Receptor. Receptor is a biomolecular recognition element. For example, tissue, microorganisms, organelles, cell receptors, enzymes, antibodies, nucleic acids, etc. Biomolecular recognition element which is immobilized on the surface of a matrix. It reacts with a specific target analyte uniquely and selectively. For example, GOX for glucose. The second basic element is the matrix. Matrix is a solid support for immobilization of the receptor. An ideal matrix ensures good stability even under adverse physiological conditions such as pH, temperature, etc. by maintaining the molecule's biochemical properties and at the same time exhibit good charge transfer characteristics. Hence, choice of a proper matrix is very crucial for the realization of an efficient biosensor. The third basic element of a biosensor is transducer. Transducer is the detector element, optical, piezoelectric, electrochemical, etc., that transforms the signal resulting from the interaction of the analyte with the biological element into a quantifiable electrical signal. Depending upon the type of signal, various transducers have been used in biosensors which work on different principles including electrochemical, optical, thermal, piezoelectric, etc. Among these, electrochemical transducers based on electron transfer are most widely used. So let us study about the electrochemical transducers. Electrochemical transducers sense a biochemical signal generated by a receptor via amperometric, that is the measurement of change in current, potentiometric, measurement of change in potential, or conductometric, measurement of change in resistance, pathway, and are widely used for biosensing applications. Electrochemical detection of biomolecules uses a 3-electrode setup for various measurements. 3-electrode setup. The different parts of a 3-electrode setup are listed below, or you can see in the given figure 2. The first part is the working electrode. Working electrode is the microelectrode whose potential is varied with time with reference to another electrode or the reference electrode. The second part is the reference electrode. Reference electrode is generally saturated calomel electrode SCE or saturated silver or silver chloride electrode whose potential remains constant. The third part is counter electrode. Counter electrode completes the circuit allowing the conduction of electrons from signal source through the analyte to the working electrode. Mercury or platinum are used as counters. The fourth part is supporting electrolyte. An excess of non-reactive electrolyte or alkali metal is required to conduct the current. So this non-reactive electrolyte is the supporting electrolyte. So in the figure 2 you can see the 3-electrode setup for electrochemical measurements, in which we can see the above 4 mentioned parts along with the voltage supply, variable resistor and the cell. Electrochemical transduction methods. Biosensors based on electrochemical transduction methods are explained below. First one is the conductometric biosensors. Conductometry is a technique depending on the change in conductivity in the solution due to the production or consumption of ionic species, for example, by the metabolic activity of the microorganisms. The measurement of conductance is extremely fast and sensitive under sophisticated modern analytical techniques, making conductometric biosensors very attractive. It is worth noting that such biosensors are suitable for miniaturization since it requires no reference electrode in the system. However, all charge carriers could result in the change of conductivity. Thus, the selectivity of the conductometric biosensors is relatively poor. The next set of biosensors are the potentiometric biosensors. Potentiometry involves the measurement of the potential difference between the working electrode and the reference electrode, and the potential signal exhibits concentration dependent behavior. The transducer employed in the potentiometric technique is usually a gas sensing electrode or an ion selective electrode. The sensitivity and selectivity of potentiometric biosensor are outstanding due to the species selective working electrode used in the system. However, a highly stable and accurate reference electrode is always required, and which may potentially limit the application of potentiometric transducers. The next is the amperometric biosensors. Amperometry involves the operation of the transducer at a given applied potential between the working electrode and the reference electrode, and the current signal is recorded and correlated with the concentration of target compound. In the amperometric detection, the current signal is generated due to the reduction or oxidation of an electroactive metabolic product or intermediate on the surface of a working electrode. The resulting current is directly correlated to the bulk concentration of the electroactive species or its production or consumption rate within the adjacent biocatalytic layer. Due to the intrinsic sensitivity of the current measurement, ultra-sensitive amperometric biosensors can be easily realized. The most direct approach for enzyme-based biosensing is amperometric detection related to direct measurement of the oxidation or reduction current associated with the biochemical reaction. The next type is the impedimetric biosensors. Electrochemical impedance spectroscopy or EIS is another important class of electrochemical biosensors which detects on the basis of change in impedance due to the occurrence of biorecognition event at the surface of bioelectrode. Impedance spectroscopy is a very powerful tool for the analysis of the interfacial properties of modified electrodes change on the occurrence of biorecognition events. EIS can be used to detect change in the impedance of the electrode solution interface when the target analyte is captured by the probe. EIS is known to be one of the best techniques for fabrication of affinity-based biosensors such as immunosensors. Matrix of a biosensor. To maintain the bioactivity of biomolecules and to obtain the proper output signal, identification of an appropriate matrix for efficient immobilization of biomolecules is critical. The matrix should provide suitable conformation to the biomolecule for maximum activity and long-term stability. The identification and development of suitable matrices for the realization of biosensors exhibiting enhanced response characteristics such as stability, sensitivity, selectivity, reproducibility, shelf life, etc. are crucial. These essential characteristics of biosensors demand to design desirable microenvironment for efficient immobilization of enzymes and to provide a fast electron transfer path between the enzyme's active sites and the electrode. Various materials have been exploited, including metal oxides, self-assembled monolayers, metal nanoparticles, conducting polymers, and nanocomposites for the development of matrices. The self-assembled monolayers and conducting polymers suffer from the specific problem of instability and degradation with time. However, metal oxides have profound applications as immobilization matrices as they not only possess high surface area, non-toxicity, good biocompatibility, high electrocatalytic activity and chemical stability, but also shows fast electron communication features. Further, morphology of the matrix, especially of nanostructured materials, is one of the most important factors to determine the properties of biosensors, since the molecules can be easily functionalized while they have very large surface area. Thin films as matrix. Since the surface morphology of the thin films are easy to control by varying the deposition technique and deposition parameters in each technique, they are highly suitable as matrices in biosensors. Thin films based biosensors have an edge in terms of stability and reproducibility among other factors. A few examples of thin films based biosensors are listed in the table below, in which we can see there is a matrix element or matrix material, then the growth technique by which that matrix material has been grown, and the analyte which is used on that matrix material. So you can see a lot of examples, naming few as nickel oxide. The grow technique is electrodeposition or RF sputtering, and the analyte used is glucose, uric acid. Then zinc oxide as the matrix material. Grow technique is electrochemical deposition or RF sputtering, and the analyte is urea and cholesterol. Then there is copper oxide. Growth technique is chemical route and pulse laser deposition, and the analyte used is glucose, uric acid. Other examples being as manganese oxide, titanium dioxide, cerium oxide, zirconium dioxide, platinum doped silicon dioxide, and graphene oxide. Immobilization of biomolecules on a matrix. Immobilization of a biomolecule is its confinement to a solid matrix or support, resulting in reduction or complete loss of its mobility. Immobilization of receptors on the matrix surface is vital for developing efficient biosensors. In this process, it must be ensured that the biomolecule retain its biospecificity over time and over a certain range of parameters such as temperature and pH. In order to fully retain biological activity of the biomolecules after immobilization, the biomolecules should be attached onto the surface of matrix without affecting its conformation and function. Several factors such as accuracy of measurements, sensor-to-sensor reproducibility, and operational lifetimes are drastically influenced by the enzyme stability. It is most important to choose a method of attachment that will prevent the loss of enzyme activity by not changing the chemical nature or reactive groups in the binding site of the enzyme. Methods of immobilization. There are four principal methods available for the immobilization of enzymes onto the matrix surface. The first method is physical adsorption. The second is the covalent bonding. The third is entrapment. And the fourth is encapsulation. So let us study in detail about the physical adsorption. The physical adsorption is the simplest approach but suffers with the problem of leaching out of the immobilized enzyme. Adsorption of the enzyme takes place on the matrix surface via weak forces such as ionic interactions, hydrogen bonds, van der Waals interactions, etc. Since most of the metal oxide matrices are positively charged and have high isoelectric point, so they are most suitable for the immobilization of negatively charged enzymes having low isoelectric point via electrostatic interactions. The second method is the covalent bonding. It is one of the most extensively researched techniques. Here, in order to attach the enzyme, a covalent bond is formed between the chemical groups of enzyme and surface of matrix via functional groups. It leads to a very strong bond, but the major shortcoming is that it may result in loss of activity and denaturation of immobilized enzyme due to the reactions at functional group sites. The third method is entrapment. Enzymes are physically captured inside the matrix of a water-soluble polymer and naturally derived gels, for example, agar, gelatin, etc. However, there is a possibility of leakage of low molecular weight enzymes from the gel, and thus it does not find much applications. The fourth method is encapsulation. Encapsulation is the enclosing of a droplet of solution of enzyme in a semi-permeable membrane capsule. The method of encapsulation is less expensive and simple, but there is a high diffusion barrier to both analyte and the product transport, resulting in low activity. Biosensing parameters. Careful design of a biosensor is crucial for medical applications as any false interpretation may lead to life-threatening consequences. Thus, it is important to understand the various biosensing parameters such as sensitivity, linearity, detection limit, and Michaelis-Menten constant. So let us first discuss about the first biosensing parameter, which is sensitivity. Sensitivity of a biosensor is an important parameter to evaluate its performance. It is defined as the change in magnitude of transduction signal in response to change in analyte concentration. Sensitivity S of amperometric sensor is determined by the slope of the calibration curve, that is graph between peak oxidation current and concentration of analyte S, and can be written in equation form as S is equal to delta L divided by or delta I divided by delta S. So sensitivity is equal to ratio of the change in the peak induction current to the concentration of analyte. Nanostructured thin films have been proven to be highly sensitive due to large surface area provided by the nanostructures for the immobilization of biomolecules. The second parameter is linearity. Linearity is defined as the constancy of the ratio of output current to the input analyte concentration. For a good biosensor, current is linear proportional to the analyte concentration. More is the linear range of biosensor, better is its response characteristic. A long linear range ensures detection of the analyte more accurately. This has been successfully achieved by thin film based biosensors. The third parameter is Michaelis-Menten constant. Michaelis-Menten constant or Km of an enzymatic reaction is a parameter that determines the affinity of immobilized enzyme towards its analyte. Lower the value of Km indicates the higher affinity of immobilized enzyme towards analyte. The value of Km is determined by plotting a graph known as Haynes plot between the analyte concentration and analyte concentration per current. The ratio of slope of straight line of this plot to the intercept gives the value of Km. The last parameter or the fourth parameter is the detection limit. Detection limit or DL is another important parameter that can be deduced by considering noise in the transduction signal. If O is the minimum resolvable signal, then detection limit is given by DL is equal to sigma by S. Properties of a good biosensor. A good biosensor is expected to fulfill some of the basic requirements as mentioned below. First of all, a good biosensor should be accurate. A good biosensor should provide accurate and precise measurement over the useful range of analyte concentrations. Secondly, sensitive. A good biosensor should be able to detect even a small change in the measured variable or the concentration of analyte. Thirdly, specific. A good biosensor response should remain unaffected due to the presence of other interferents present in human biological fluids. Fourthly, it should be linear. That is, output signal should be linearly proportional to the value of measurable variable. That is the linear calibration curve. The fifth parameter for a good biosensor is simplicity. The designed biosensor should be simple in construction and economical. The sixth parameter is reproducible. That is, the response characteristics of biosensor should be reproducible. And lastly, it should be stable. That is, a good biosensor should not degrade with time and should have a long shelf life. So students, Let us now summarize what we have learned in this module. After studying this module, students now are familiar with the different components of a biosensor. First of all, having a brief introduction about what is a biosensor, you have learned about the different components of a biosensor. Then you have learned about the different methods of electrochemical transduction using a 3-electrode setup. You have learned about the application of thin films in developing matrix for biosensors. You have learned about various methods of immobilization of biomolecules on a matrix. Then you learned about the biosensing parameters such as sensitivity, linearity, detection limit, and Michaelis-Menten constant. Then lastly, you have learned about the properties that define a good biosensor. Thank you.